What's up, guys? I'm Chris Spags here, back with another Four Corners video for today's 8-game MLB main slate, courtesy of Osmo.com. Now, the good news is we had a couple double dongs called correctly in the comments yesterday, so I will be giving away that free month of an Osmo Plus membership at the end of the video. But the better news for all of you who didn't get it right is I will be giving it away again today, so like this video and comment your double dong pick down below. Again, we have a lot of weak pitching on today's slate, a lot of guys who should be giving up production today, so like the video, comment your double dong pick. If you are correct, you could win a free month of an Osmo Plus premium membership. But right now, let's get to the first corner on today's slate, the top pitching, and Justin Verlander going against Milwaukee should be the number one owned guy everywhere. He gets 3.5 implied runs against him, which is a slate low, and he'll be the number one owned pitcher on DraftKings with 38%, FanDuel with 31%, and Yahoo with 46%. I'm willing to get close to the ownership on Verlander because talent-wise, he's in a class of his own on the slate, but the spot versus Milwaukee is about as bad as it gets, with a 204 ISO, 22.3% K rate, and a 115 WRC plus for their projected lineup. Well, this year, Verlander's strikeouts are down to 10.6 Ks per nine, and his home run rate's up to 3.9%. So it's kind of the worst possible matchup here for Verlander based upon the fact he's going against a Milwaukee team who has a lot of power here. Again, the talent for Verlander is still significantly higher than any other pitcher on the slate, so I'm willing to come close to the field. But I do think it's a spot here where it really screams to me to go the other way, get some Milwaukee leverage in there because Verlander's giving up home runs. And Milwaukee, what they do is they drive in home runs. Much like his partner Jacob Junis yesterday, Danny Duffy versus Detroit should also find some ownership today with 3.8 implied runs against him. He's projected to be the number 2 owned pitcher on all the SP2 sites, so all you DK and Yahoo people, be prepared to have some Danny Duffy in your life. Duffy projects well at his price, but Detroit can cause issues with Duffy's low 7.4 K per nine, and guys like Nick Castellanos and Miguel Cabrera are over a 164 WRC plus versus left-hand pitching. I don't think Duffy's as good of a pitcher as Junis is, and I really didn't think Junis was a great pitcher yesterday. I don't mind a spot because Detroit does strike out a good amount here, but again, the lefty matchup is going to be a tough one because guys like Castellanos and Cabrera can really rake it. I think those guys can break up Duffy's decent day if he's having one. And Miles Mikolas at Miami rounds out the top pitchers today with 3.6 implied runs against him. Mikolas will be the number 2 owned on DraftKings in a seemingly low-risk spot, and he'll also have some ownership on Yahoo, so really more of an SP2 site guy as well. Mikolas doesn't strike guys out with 6.5 Ks per nine, but Miami's 25% K rate and 108 ISO, and a positive pitching park should provide a decent floor given Mikolas's low 1.2 whip. If you roster Mikolas today, you're hoping that he limits production and finds his way to a few extra strikeouts. I think it's a pretty decent spot for that, and on a slate where there's a lot of guys who can get blown up, I think Mikolas does seem fairly safe given the matchup and the pitching park. Onto the top stacks on the slate, and the Minnesota stack going against Tommy Milone should be popular today. They get 5.9 implied runs for them, which is a slate high. Minnesota projects for a good bit of ownership, but Malone's 5.4 xFIP and 5.9% home run rate versus righties should work versus a righty-heavy Minnesota lineup. Minnesota's a top-hitting team versus left-hand pitching and right-hand pitching, so while Malone's low 1.1 whip versus all hitters is a bit worrisome to me for a full stack, the righties should keep enough pressure on him to create some production. Minnesota's been a great hitting team, but I don't think Malone is as bad of a pitcher as he may have seemed on paper earlier this year. I'm probably going to be a little bit under the field on Minnesota, even though they are a strong hitting team, because right now they're looking like they're going to be very popular everywhere across the industry today. A Baltimore stack versus Edwin Jackson should also be popular today with 5.4 implied runs for them. Jackson's terrible 2.2 whip, a not so nice 6.9 Ks per nine, 47% hard contact, and 7.7% home run rate can mean big production in a hitting-friendly Baltimore park. Baltimore's lineup is not good, but guys like Anthony Santander, Trey Mancini, Chance Sisco, and Ronaldo Nunez have shown solid pop on the year with all those guys above a 4.8% home run rate in 2019. Jackson's been really bad on the year, and Baltimore is able to put up some runs in easy matchups, so I think the spot here for Baltimore is worth some exposure, even though on paper they really are a bad hitting team and not one that you want to have a lot of lineups on in general. And on the other side, a Toronto stack versus David Hess should also be popular today with 5.1 implied runs for them. Hess hasn't been Edwin Jackson bad this year, but a 7.3% home run rate and 49% of fly ball rate can be big issues versus a powerful Toronto lineup. Reasonable prices for Toronto combined with a high team total will cause some additional ownership, while Baltimore's bullpen also being bad may make them even more interesting as a full stack than Baltimore because there is a decent bullpen for Toronto going against Baltimore's hitters. As we've seen many times on the year, Toronto stack is never a sure thing because the batting averages really aren't that high there, even though they do have a ton of power. These guys need to be generating home runs to give you fantasy production today, and the matchup versus Hess, as well as a matchup versus a bad Baltimore bullpen in a positive hitting park, those are positive factors for Toronto today, even though they are going to be very chalky. Onto our next corner, the lower owned options on today's slate, and an Atlanta stack going against Mitch Keller is one that I like. They get 5.5 implied runs for them. Keller's had one start in Major League Baseball this year. While he impressed with 7 strikeouts versus Cincinnati, he also allowed a 2.3 whip and a 4.8% home run rate in that one start. The weather and park factors should favor Atlanta's hitters who all have decent power, with Nick Markakis the only hitter underneath league average in home run rate versus right-hand pitching. Atlanta's a team we just saw get there yesterday with some really nice production against Chris Archer. Mitch Keller is no Chris Archer, even though he's also got some decent strikeout stuff. I think the spot here versus Mitch Keller seems like one where he should regress a bit, and Atlanta can capitalize here in a humid hitting park. Joey Lucchesi versus San Francisco is also a pitcher I like today with 3.6 implied runs against him. San Francisco strikes out barely above league average with a 23.7% rate versus left-hand pitching, but their 68 WRC plus and 112 ISO should favor Lucchesi in a great pitching park. Lucchesi's strikeout stuff has improved with an 11.2% swing strike rate and a steady 9.1 Ks Ks per 9 walls. Low 1.1 whip should mean limited production for San Francisco. San Francisco is a team who really doesn't generate a lot of run production. Lucchesi's a guy who can be good against bad teams, so I like the spot here, especially going in a positive pitching park like San Francisco's. And a Kansas City stack versus Daniel Norris is also a bit interesting with 4.7 implied runs for them. Norris hasn't missed bats with 6.9 Ks per 9 and a 9% swing strike rate while allowing a decent 1.5 whip and a 4.4% home run rate. Norris is equally bad versus lefties and righties, so Kansas City's hitters are in an interesting pay up to be contrarian option and a park that does help with run production. It limits home runs a bit, but overall there are more runs generated at Kansas City's park in general. I think the spot here is a decent one and one that shouldn't be too highly owned because again, these Kansas City players are a bit overpriced. And as you may have gathered, it's another not great pitching slate, so I'm willing to go to Sean Anderson today versus San Diego. Gets 3.9 implied runs against him, and Anderson is not a good fantasy pitcher with 5.1 Ks per 9 and a 6.6% swing strike rate, but his price could be useful with some upside given San Diego's projected lineup that has a 29% K rate versus right-hand pitching. Anderson induces a lot of ground balls with just a 24% fly ball rate, so it's possible he keeps the ball in the park and picks up a few easy strikeouts along the way. I'm generally not dying to roster guys who I would define as not a good fantasy pitcher, but Anderson is a guy who can have some upside here. I think the spot fits, and his low price can help you afford some higher price bats if this ends up being a very hitting dominant slate. Now onto a corner that's been good recently for us, the one-offs, and Trey Mancini going against Edwin Jackson is a one-off I like a lot. Mancini comes with a stiff price on DraftKings and Yahoo, but he's reasonably priced on FanDuel, and his 2-on-1 ISO makes him the best power hitter on Baltimore versus a guy who gives up a ton of power in Edwin Jackson. Again, I'm not necessarily buying into the full Baltimore stacks across the board. I think having some mini stacks and some one-offs can be logical here because Jackson gives up home runs, and if anybody's going to hit home run today, I think Mancini does have the best bets here on Baltimore's side. On the other side of the game, I like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. going against David Hess. Vlad Jr.'s 45% hard contact versus right-hand pitching and solid price everywhere make him a nice value versus Hess, who has an iffy 43% hard contact and 7.3% home run rate. As we know by now, Baltimore's park is one of the better hitting parks in the league, giving up a ton of home run power, and Vladimir Guerrero being able to make that hard contact against the guy in Hess who's not that good should help him pay off that solid value price today. And Nelson Cruz versus Tommy Milone is a popular one-off today I like. Malone's ability to limit runs with a 1.1 whip in a Minnesota park that inhibits production makes a one-off with Cruz and his 55% hard contact and a 159 WRC plus versus left-hand pitching the best candidate to generate runs. And a spot here where I don't think the pitcher is going to give up a ton of production, and then go into mini stacks and one-offs is an approach I like for tournaments. And Nelson Cruz is a guy who I think can drive that Minnesota production heavily if the rest of the stack does falter. So there are my thoughts on today's slate. So right now, like this video, comment your double dong pick down below for your chance to win a free month of an Osmo Plus premium membership. Yesterday, we had 3 guys who picked a double dong correctly, and all you had to do is follow my one-off picks. Anthony Rendon, he would have got you there, but we had Brian McCann, Anthony Rendon, and Max Muncy hitting double dongs. Here are the picks right here. These guys got it all correctly. Since there were 3 of them, I use a random number generator going off all the comments you guys have left on the video. So the more comments, the more participation you have, the more entries you'll get to win if there is a tie for the double dong contest. And as a result, the winner was Eric Nelson. So congratulations, Eric. Email me at chris@osmo.com or leave a comment here and we'll figure it out. And congrats as well to AO Rhino and DFS Taco. You guys also made great picks, and I'm sorry I can't give away months to everybody, but guys, keep playing. We're going to be giving away a ton of months for the rest of the year. So like the video, comment your double dong pick down below, and you could be winning that free month of an Osmo Plus membership just like Eric Nelson did today. But it's not all a meritocracy here. You can also use that promo code Switch and Hedge for half off the first month or week of any Osmo Plus membership. Get all the ownership projections, the regular projections, the rankings, the daily deep dive column, the lineup builder, the top stacks tool, a million different things that'll help you make better DFS lineups every single day. So go ahead right now, use that promo code Switch and Hedge. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live on Live Before Lock later today, which I'll be hosting again every day through Saturday. So come join me in there. We had some YouTube issues yesterday. We'll be back on track today, hopefully. So go subscribe, hit that notification bell. Also go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. Followers add value that I'm lacking every single day in every other aspect of my life. Really just nice to have you guys in the fold, be able to talk to you, be able to tweet and have those conversations. So do that right now. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. I'll be back tomorrow with another Four Corners video. So good luck.